Welcome back to the Bayside Fabrication YouTube channel. We have a big day today. Vlad is going to be here in about a half an hour, and we are going to do the MS43 swap. And we're going to immediately throw it on the dyno next door. So a couple things I'm going to do right now is with the MS43 swap, we can get rid of the idle control valve, and we have to get rid of the throttle body and swap that out. So I'm going to do that, as well as I have to remove the accelerator pedal and get our other one secured in there. So I got a lot to do in a short time, but we're gonna make it happen here. Like I said, we're on a real time crunch, so I'm not gonna have enough time to really go over everything in detail like I wanted to, but this is one of the main differences in these two setups. This is the MS43 electronic fly-by-wire throttle body. This is the MS42. You can see it's part electronic and then part manual. So it's this weird thing they did for like 2 years, and then they ultimately went to the MS43, which is full electronic. So yeah, it's just one of those deals. Very, very strange thing. But I also think, if you look, this is a 330 throttle body, and it is significantly larger than the throttle body that was on there. So we're gonna make sure this the bolt pattern and everything is the same. It should be totally fine, but we're gonna make sure it's the same on our adapter here. I don't know if I showed you guys this. This is my manifold spacer I made to adapt the MS42. So you can see here, I drilled a couple holes and actually welded a manifold on, and that's all my boost references here. So that goes to our blow-off valve, our fuel pressure regulator, and our wideband / boost gauge. So that's a pretty cool thing. Vlad's in the house. What we got there, Vlad?
All right, so we've got a pin reassignment chart right here.
Yep.
So we've got the old pins for MS42 for the older style throttle body.
Yep.
And then we have the new reassignment for the drive-by-wire throttle body.
So I also picked a full wiring harness. We have our emergency backup plan, which is a whole new wiring harness, which we're gonna try not to do. So we'll see if we can get the throttle body sorted out.
Down here we've got the entire length of wire we'll need for the new style accelerator pedal. So instead of the cable pedal, we're gonna have the drive-by-wire, and I just have to add these pins to the connector that's already on the chassis wiring harness.
Yeah, so I was at the junkyard, and this is what I cut off of the main harness, the chassis harness, and I left that just so, I mean...
Yeah, that's perfect.
It'd be awesome if we could actually repin it.
I can just depin these pins and click them into the existing harness in the Z3.
Dude, that's sick. So that's where we're at. So yeah, we're gonna get busy on it. One thing I didn't realize was that our bolt pattern here on our new throttle body is different than the MS42. You can see I made this adapter plate for the MS42. So these 4 bolts here go to the intake manifold, and these 4 here were threaded that go to the throttle body. However, they are different. So in this one, instead of remaking a whole plate, because this thing was actually pretty time consuming to do all the vacuum manifold and everything, I'm just going to fill in these 4 holes and weld them up and drill and retap them, because it's kind of hard to see, but these holes here actually, there's like half a hole there, so we can't get fresh material to drill and tap into. So not a big deal at all. We'll get that done in just a couple minutes, and we'll be ready to party.
And not only is the older style, the MS42 throttle bolt pattern different from the fully drive-by-wire throttle, but also it's different between the 2.5 and the 3 liter.
Oh, I didn't know that. And this is one thing I did notice though. The 2.5 liter versus the 3 liter throttle body, significantly different. I think this is 70 millimeters and this is 64, I believe. So that's gotta be just an upgrade right off the bat. And I know I went to the junkyard and I pulled a throttle body off and I was like, yo, I got this. And you're like, yeah, dude, that's a 2.5 liter and it's not gonna work. So good thing they have a 30-day return policy.
I mean, it would work, but if we're going through all that work, we might as well use the bigger throttle.
Yeah, I'll take the extra 6 millimeters. You know? I also thought that, because at first I thought it was gonna work. The throttle body with the bolts were the same as the M50. They're close, but they're not the same. So right now I'm just gonna pull the idle control valve off. We're just gonna plug it for now, and I'll find a better solution once we have a little more time. I'll probably wind up just epoxying the that hole shut and calling it a day there. But as of now, Vlad's gonna work on the wiring and try to decipher that while I do kind of the mechanical, physical stuff with actually getting the throttle body mounted to this new plate and getting the idle control valve and the accelerator pedal bolted on. So let's party, dude. We got a couple hours here and the dyno's available. Yeah. So I'm fired up, man. Make some steam today. All right, I welded up the holes on our adapter plate, and we're just going to now get this oriented properly and re-drill these 4 holes, drill and tap, and we're good to go. All right, I'm just finishing up the my little adapter plate. We have our intercooler. I just welded up the old idle air control valve fitting, and Vlad, you just went from,
yep, so
what'd you say?
We went from the old 10-pin round connector.
Yep.
We went to the newer style drive-by-wire 6-pin connector.
Okay, and how many pins was the old one?
10-pin.
10-pin, okay. So you did some wizardry where you found out what pins did what?
Yep, I made a little chart here, give everybody a sneak peek. Well,
cool.
Haven't documented all the new colors yet, but I'll post it on a forum or something.
That's
later
right.
On old color to new color, basically make it easy for people so they don't have to look at pin numbers and whatnot.
Sure, sure. So you're gonna work on the throttle, accelerator cable, I said cable, accelerator wires now.
Yep.
And I'm going to get this plate put on, and hopefully everything works.
Yep.
First shot.
All I got now is the accelerator pedal wiring and a couple pins for different signals to the gauge cluster that I just have to switch the
Sweet.
pin arrangement around.
Well,
yeah.
So far this is relatively painless, and like I said, I wasn't really expecting my throttle body to not match up. I would have worked on that yesterday, but that's been the most time-consuming thing on my part here. All right, guys. Well, we ran out of time to get on the dyno today. It looks like there's a car coming in at 3, and if we were gonna get on the dyno, we'd have to get there at 1. What are you gonna do, right? So. It's like 1:30 now, and you know, we're just taking our time with it. Vlad, you just finished up on your end of things like 2 minutes ago. So what were you messing with there?
So last thing I was just doing was I was adding the wiring for the drive-by-wire accelerator pedal.
Yep.
So on the there's a chassis connector.
Yeah, this is a rat's nest of wiring.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, dude, this is a...
Yeah, here we go.
This is an aux cable for a freaking radio. Like, so...
This one right here.
Yeah.
You can kind of see the green and yellow wires and whatnot on my index finger there.
Yep.
So we have our accelerator pedal wiring going to there, and now we have to remove the old one.
Yep. I'm going to work on that now.
So
I don't know, you want to take lunch or something?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, because you're at the point where your end is done. We kind of agreed I'd do all the mechanical stuff, and you can do the fun wiring stuff.
I did the wiring stuff. Now I got to do the electronic stuff. So I have to.
Oh, that's right.
I got to do a full reflash of your new engine computer. I'm going to pretty much port over your ignition tables, fuel.
Awesome.
Table, all that. So.
Awesome. Well, yeah, like I said, guys, we were trying to get on the dyno today, but there's no point in rushing anything. It's just how it goes, especially at this stage of the game. You know, there's a lot more. Like I said, my throttle body here, that was the adapter plate was kind of something I didn't even think about. Just a few small things. I had to go borrow a elbow to get this working because our other. It's actually crazy how our other throttle body stuck out like almost another inch because I had to shave down my other elbow to fit. So we'll just get this one on. I'll just order another one. This is Jonathan's over here.
So anybody thinking of doing one of these conversions, one advantage is these drive-by-wire throttle bodies, even brand new, they are way cheaper than the MS42 weird Frankenstein.
Yeah, what were you saying? They're like $600 a piece for the MS42.
$600 to $800 brand new, something like that.
That's crazy.
Last I recall.
And these, you know, I got this at the junkyard for $35, yep. And brand new, they're $100 maybe. We're probably gonna take lunch real quick and just finish it up. And you know, like I said, no rush at this point. And we'll you know, rip it up the street a couple times afterwards and make sure everything's cool. And yeah, we'll try to schedule a dyno for next time because once we're all set up and tuned in, man, we're gonna be ready to rip this thing. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have some tricks on it.
Yeah, and there's a couple things I want to do. Actually, the rear camera is almost an issue at this point. because I have such negative camber and I haven't adjusted, and all my bushings are smoked back there, that I haven't even had the chance to like deal with it yet. But dude, I'm running probably on like 4 inches of actual contact patch of tire. So that doesn't help when you're in third gear and it starts getting sideways. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's button this up and we'll get this thing fired up shortly. This is actually gonna fit right on the factory Z3 pedal mount. And I just have to trim it a little bit in the end so I can slide it over to mate up with that. And Vlad, you just let me in on a little information here.
Yeah, so this pedal's from an automatic car.
Yep.
So when you go to the very bottom of the pedal travel, there's a haptic feedback clicker. You can hear it.
Yeah.
We can absolutely use this pedal. All we have to do, if we don't want that kick down click, is we use, these are Torx screws, but they're a 5-wing instead of 6-wing security Torx. So we just take this cover off and we remove the little clicker and that's it. Then it's just like the manual pedal.
We're gonna do that right now because that's stupid. I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day, Vlad.
The little things.
So we didn't have that Torx bit. It's a 5-point safety, what do they call it, security Torx?
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Most Torx are, but there's a click at the end. Well, that way I know I'm full throttle, right?
Yeah.
So that went in perfect. It feels great. It's in the right position and it pretty much bolted right in. I only had to shave the bracket off just a little bit to slide over to the right. So at this point, we're almost ready to fire this thing up. I'm just waiting on Vlad, and he's got, and I didn't realize this, we can put launch control in, aka anti-lag, and it can be rolling anti-lag. All you gotta do is push in the clutch.
Yeah.
So explain to me how that's gonna work. We're setting it for just what, 3,500 RPM to start?
To start with 33, 3,400-ish was the default.
Okay. And you're gonna activate it how?
When the clutch is pushed in and the accelerator pedal is past a certain threshold, past a certain amount of pressure,
yep,
then launch control will activate.
So you're gonna put in a, let's just call it 3,500 RPM rev limit?
Yeah.
And then you will cut timing?
Full ignition cut. So there'll be an ignition cut rev limiter.
Okay, gotcha. So it'll be ignition cut rev limiter. Gotcha. Is it gonna make cool noises?
Oh yeah.
All right. That's what I like to hear. What we got here?
So I've got the...
What's all this?
This DME is hooked up to my bench. So I have a power supply right here and it basically simulates the ignition being on. So I have a constant, reliable supply of power going to the engine computer.
You're saying my motorcycle battery's not reliable?
It's it's a cleaner solution than something like that.
And so what's the process? What's the first steps here? So we have a brand new computer pulled out of a 330i automatic from the junkyard.
Yep.
What's the first thing you do?
First thing I do is I hook it up, put power to it, and then I clear the adaptations that are stored on the ECU.
Okay. So you pretty much start from scratch with it?
I delete any things that the ECU learned.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
Like, for example, learned knock adaptations to modify the ignition angle. I'm also resetting like lambda sensor adaptations, things like that.
Okay.
Throttle body adaptations.
Yep. So everything starts at zero, and we're gonna get a fresh start on, so that way nothing. You know, there's gonna be nothing weird that we're gonna be hunting for.
So the DME now, like, it forgot that it was ever communicating with a transmission control module.
Perfect.
So
okay, awesome.
That's reset.
Dude, I'm so fired up about MS43.
Yeah.
I know, like, we talked about it before we got this car together. You're like, yeah, you should probably do it. It'll help you.
Now I'm doing the full flash.
And I didn't realize, and that's it. That's easy as that, huh?
Yep.
And so right now you're reflashing the maps pretty much that we had in the MS42.
So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm doing a full like base.
Okay.
So this is like the base. So I'm basically going from, let's say, Windows XP to Windows 10.
Okay, yeah, right, because you said you're reflashing this to a newer version,
yes.
Correct? Okay, so this version is God knows what, right?
Yeah, it could be 5.5, 5.6. I'm going to the latest.
Yep.
Which is 6.9.
Okay, so how does that work? How does newer versions keep coming out? of the same computer that is now 20 years old, right? How does that work?
This latest version, it's still old.
Yeah.
It's what you would have found on, for example, a 2006 X5, which had MS43 like mine.
It's the latest version of the MS series before they went to MS45.
Yes. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I find that interesting though, because like your car is a 2006 and it's MS43.
Yep.
But like I was at the junkyard where I messed up on that X3, which is MS45, and it's 2 years older. So they overlapped MS43 and MS45 on different vehicles.
And on E46's the March 2003 build date and later, at least in the North American market, they used MS45.1. Which uses wideband sensors. It's a completely different.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way because just the dead giveaway is the MAF sensor, which is like a 6-wire MAF versus a 3.
Yeah, because the intake air temperature sensor on the MS45 computers is integrated into the
MAF
sensor.
Yeah, so I'm learning a lot of stuff here, man. This is wild, and it gets me real excited to see.
With the E46s, the all-wheel drive ones, the XI models, through the whole production range, they still used MS43.
Okay,
so
even when MS45 was available.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know why they did that, why there are those production overlaps.
And it's just in the IXs, which doesn't make any sense. Same motor, same everything other than all-wheel drive.
So
then
X5 and the XI all-wheel drive E46s, they're all MS43.
Cool.
For the M52.
Interesting. Very cool. All right, well, he's reflashing this thing, and we're
on the program. It's doing its thing.
All right, Vlad says we're ready to fire.
Almost. Getting ready.
We should probably pull the old computer out. All right, we just plugged it all in. This is gonna be a legit first start.
Just making sure it's in neutral.
Yeah.
Temperature gauge does not go to red, so we have connection to the DME.
Okay.
Well, looks like we got some stuff to figure out.
Okay. Well, it turned over. Is there a way to see if the
Throttle body? Yeah, I got an idea.
Okay, just make sure it's working.
Yeah, I've got an idea.
Okay, so we just had a little issue with the first start. Not a big deal. So we're just gonna verify a couple things before we go any further. First off is making sure our throttle body is working. All right, Vlad, I can see in there.
Okay. One second while I wait on the program to open.
Okay. We just gotta wait on the program to open, and we'll verify. Yep.
That'll work.
It just went a little bit, didn't go all the way. It just opened. Okay. Like it moved, but didn't go all the way open. So we had that pop off the bat, and you said you think it's something easy?
Yeah, I think it's two fuel tables.
Okay, so it's just a simple...
Because we're running a map reduction software, we're running, basically we slimmed down the number of fuel and ignition tables. So there's less that needs to be tuned, less that needs to be copied and pasted.
Gotcha.
And there were two tables that weren't populated.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because you said right away, you're like, I know what that is. Yeah. So, but that's all part of, it's all part of tuning. It's all, you know, this is all part of it. Try it again. Better than before. But dude, this is how it idled before with E85. Do you have the ignition on?
Yeah, the accelerated connector's hooked up.
Yeah. You want to push it real quick? Okay. Alright guys, we didn't make the dyno today, obviously, and we're just fighting an issue on, it's either part of the wiring here, or something in the software, or it could be a mechanical thing in the throttle body, or we don't really know. But the car will just turn over, pop, and it just won't stay running. And it's just one of those things where we kind of have to go back to the drawing board and see what's going on. It's getting late here, so we all got to go home, and you know, we got families and dinner and stuff to deal with. So we're just gonna call it a night, think about what it could be, and we'll readdress it tomorrow morning or this weekend. So it's got spark and fuel because it will fire. It just won't stay running. But Vlad, you're the man. If there's anybody I trust, it's you to get this sorted out. So I'm sure it's be something that's no big deal, and we'll just get it fired up and not a problem. In the meantime, here's Jack St. Jimmy. Woo! That's his drift car. It's sick. Well guys, it's the next day here, and the car is still dead in the water. We tried a few things. We verified the throttle body's opening and closing when you hit the accelerator pedal. Really thinking it's a software issue at this point, so we're kind of dead in the water until Vlad can figure out what the issue is here. So it's Friday. He said I'll probably just wind up dropping the car off to him this weekend and just seeing if he could figure it out. So kind of frustrating, but this is the way things go. Start modifying cars and going down the rabbit hole like this. These things happen, and hopefully it's just an easy fix and it's not a big deal. But as of now, I got real work to do, so thanks for watching guys, and hopefully you got this sorted out in the next video here.